I have a couple questions on Christ's nature in regard to the following excerpts in the letter written by Ellen White. Be careful, exceedingly careful, how you dwell upon the human nature of Christ. Do not set him before the people as a man with the propensities of sin. He is the second Adam. The first Adam was created a pure, sinless being without a taint of sin upon him. He was the image of God. He was in the image of God. He could fall, and he did fall through transgression. Because of sin, his posterity was born with inherent propensities of disobedience. That's the carnal nature. That's that fear and that incapacity to resist it. But Jesus Christ was the only begotten Son of God. He took upon himself human nature and was tempted on all points as human nature is tempted. He could have sinned. He could have fallen. But not for one moment was there in him any evil propensity. Brother Baker, avoid every question in relation to the humanity of Christ which is liable to be misunderstood. Truth lies close to the track of presumption. In treating upon the humanity of Christ, you need to guard strenuously every assertion, lest your words be taken to mean more than they imply. Never in any way leave the slightest impression upon human minds that a taint of or inclination to corruption rested upon Christ. The incarnation of Christ has ever been and will ever remain a mystery. But let every human being be warned from the ground of making Christ altogether human, such as one of ourselves, for it cannot be. Then the question goes on. Could we say that Christ inherited our fallen human weaknesses, fear, exhaustion, pain, hunger, thirst, but not the selfishness which we inherited from Adam? That he experienced the fear that we experience, since fear is the root of temptation, but that he conquered that fear through love. He didn't inherit propensities to evil. So as I've presented this, I present Jesus' humanity as different and unique from all other human beings. He was not like Adam in Eden, who was taken out of the dirt of the earth, and God breathed into him the breath of life, and he became a sinless human being. Jesus' humanity didn't come that way. He did not come as Eve did. Eve was taken from the side of a sinless human being, and she was also made sinless. That is not how Jesus' humanity came. Our humanity came, sinful mother, sinful father, conceive us in iniquity, Psalms 51:5. Jesus' humanity didn't come that way either. His humanity is unique. Galatians 5:5, he was born of a woman under law, so he had his humanity from Mary, descended from David, and the Holy Spirit came upon him. Thus, his father was the Holy Spirit. So in Jesus, we have a unique being. We have a being who has a humanity capable of suffering the temptations like ours, but he has a mind or individuality or sense of self that is not corrupted with propensities or anything that responds positively to those temptations. So when we get our feelings hurt, some part of us feels good about retaliating. When he got his feelings hurt, he didn't have some part of him that goes, yeah, it would feel good to retaliate. He was tempted to retaliate, but he didn't have a part of him that would go, I would like to retaliate. See, this is the difference, okay? And so he was tempted on all points like way. You talk about the selfish aspect, though. He was capable of feeling temptations of the human nature to feel the feelings that tempt him towards selfishness. We see that in Gethsemane. The prayer in Gethsemane was agonizing in terrible emotional anguish, and the prayer was specifically about, if it's possible, let this cup pass. So what's he being tempted with? Selfishness. He can't not be tempted with that. He has to be tempted. And it says in James chapter 1, no one should say God tempts, because God cannot be tempted. Each one of us are tempted. We're dragged away and enticed by our own evil desires. So he had a humanity that could tempt him with both fear and selfishness. But in his individuality, he didn't have a part of him that resonated with it and would feel good if he acted selfishly. We do. We've all done it. You know that what I'm talking about. When you did something selfish, you felt good when you did it, and then later you were convicted of the Holy Spirit and you repented of it. Right? Come on. Yeah. All right? He didn't have that part. That's what it's talking about. That's my understanding.